Hello, children. It's your mama. For some reason, you already see where we finna go. For some reason, yesterday it was 82 degrees. Today it's 48. What are we, and raining. Mother Nature, you're due a canceling. I will be calling my team, and we will be pulling up receipts and records to find out whether or not I should cancel you. Someone else that is definitely getting canceled. We're not even going to review your file. We're just going to cancel you. The Devil. The Devil will be canceled on this channel at some point soon. It's just bound to happen. I don't have time for the Devil and his girlfriend, Mother Nature. We're just not, I'm tired. Moving along, I honestly almost forgot that this was a review channel because I've been out here just doing too much. But let me get on back to my roots and give y'all a Queen Sugar review. Tell y'all what's going on. Honestly, the Devil was working on that show too. I was really just pretty bored. I was pretty bored with the episode. Hold on. I gotta let down this window and let it back up to get the raindrops off of the window so that I may see out of it. If you hurry up, I can hurry up. You didn't hurry up, but I'm gonna hurry up. Stay with it. Stay with it. My car did not want to come on out on this road. Okay, so anyway, Queen Sugar. Queen Sugar. Okay, so we at the doctor's office. And Vi got lupus. I don't like how they really they reached around for this one. They bounced back and forth, and it was like, oh, Vi has something very serious. Oh no, maybe it's cancer. And then Vi popped back with, oh no, it's just fibromyalgia. And then this week, no, you have lupus. Like what in the world? I had sat here and stopped worrying about Violet. I had started to mind my business. Now I got to mind my business and mind Violet's business because I'm concerned. So she's got lupus. And now that shook her to her core. Her wig tilted over to the side. She was just shook. And moving on. Nova and that friend whom I don't think we've ever gotten a name for this friend. But the friend has a lot of free time to have just had twins. She had no husband, no man at all. She got a whole lot of free time. Because I have a little brother and sister that are twins. My father and stepmother didn't go outside for a long time. Bless their heart. But then the babies were premature, so I don't know. But anyway, move. Who cares? This woman and Nova are sitting in a coffee shop, chitting and chatting, and discussing, the woes of the world and the past and the da-da-da-da-da. And she... Nova got on my nerves this episode. She in the middle of having a conversation with her friend. She looks up. She sees white police officer, the former lover who was married with children while she was going with him. So the strikes against him and her. The strikes against the relationship is she's a black power activist fighting against white cops, going with a white cop who is married with a family. It was wrong from the start. But she looks up in the middle of the conversation with her friend, sees him, and it's just giving... And the friend is like, sis, girl, what? Excuse me, I was in the middle of trying to tell you, blah, blah, blah. And Nova's just... And she's staring this man down until a white police officer turns. Like, dang, I feel somebody staring at me. What is going on? Turns, takes off his glasses, and it's giving her. So now we got these two weirdos in the coffee shop just doing this. And I'm sitting over here on my TV just like, the hell? We all just, I used to work at a coffee shop. And stuff like that would go on all the time. And it just, girl, I'm over here blending these beans. And you over here staring him down. And he over here can y'all take this outside? No, get this away from me. It's uncomfortable for everybody. And then the people walking around them, staring at them like, what's wrong with you? Do we need to call the police? What's going on? Oh, he is the police. I don't know how to, like, girl. It was real tired. It was real trifling. And the friend was like, hey, Nova, girl, sis. And police officer, I think his name is Calvin. Calvin walks over and is giving, let me walk closer and stare at you. So now they in vicinity and they stand at each other. And the friend is like, hey sis, don't know who you are. I'm friend. And he's like, oh, hey, I'm Calvin. Nice to meet you. And then he goes on about his day. And I'm like, ugh. So then friend is like, girl, who was that? What's going on? And Nova finally takes a large, healthy gulp of air. And goes on into, that was the past. And friend is sitting there like me, like, the past is The way y'all just sat here, child, can't nobody, I don't have time. I don't have time. Anyway. For some reason, and you know what, Queen Sugar Writers, before I even get into the scene with Blue dropping on by Nova's home, let me try to get an understanding here. So, Blue walks around with a doll named Kenya. Kenya was legendary. She was sickening. I even used to start my videos and say, hey, good day. I am Kenya. Blah, blah, like I was Kenya. Okay, why are you on my train tracks? I need to turn. Get off my... Does nobody care that you're a tractor or a bulldozer or whatever kind of weird instrument you are? Get off my track. Moving along. I'm sorry. I'm so disgruntled. That old bald-headed devil got on my nerves last night, and I ain't getting no good rest. Actually, last night, the night before, and the night before, I'm on day 4 of waking up every 30 minutes for no damn reason. Not a reason. There's just no reason. I'm just laying in bed, sleeping, dreaming. 30 minutes later, I'm up, trying to figure out what's going on. Okay, let me put my blinders back on, try to go back to sleep. 30 minutes later, I'm awake. I've had it. And I know the saints, if you're watching, you're going to say, well, you just need to pray. He's trying to wake you up to pray. I prayed. I said, hey, God, what's going on? I see you want some attention. Let me give you a little peace. In the name of Jesus, I pray. Amen. Now let me go on back to sleep. Went back to sleep. 30 minutes later, I was up. So then I'm like, okay, let me open my Bible app, see what's going on over here. Turned a couple pages, flipped a couple verses. Hey, amen, chapter 1, verse 11, blah, da, 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 da. Went back to sleep. Awakened 30 minutes later. But y'all don't care. Y'all didn't come here for that. Y'all came here for the borderline blues. So anyway, Kenya was legendary and sickening. And Darla was intimidated. Darla is Blue's mother. She was very intimidated when she came back into the picture because, honestly, Kenya was legendary and Darla knew she could just possibly never. So Darla and her old bald... Darla, you old fish-eyed fool, went and took Kenya and threw her away. So Blue was awakened the next morning without Kenya by his side. And he was shook and he was crying and he had it. They were turning over the house trying to find Kenya. Where is she? And Darla pulls Ralph Angel to the side and says, I threw her away. Tells him, after some goading, because she wasn't going to tell him. Ralph Angel says, where'd you throw her away? She tells him, he goes on down there, Kenya's gone. So they bought a new Kenya. They bought a new Kenya doll and gave it to Blue. And Blue looked at the doll, gave her the once-over and said, this is not Kenya. Kenya had a birthmark. I gave it to her myself for identification purposes. This is not my daughter. And the children were just like, well, dang, let's tell the truth. And Darla and Ralph Angel sat Blue down and said, Mommy threw away Kenya. And, Blue went into, why, what did we do, blah, blah, blah. And he didn't do nothing wrong, yada, yada, yada. And then we just moved on. Blue was just walking around with his new doll. After we heard him say, this ain't Kenya, he walking around with his new doll. Children don't do that. Children are not placated by duplicate copies of their favorite toy. They just, if they find out it's not their toy, it's over for them. So I'm trying to understand, but whatever. Blue and this new doll. I went way around that point. Blue and this new doll, and his mom and daddy pop on down over to Nova's house. They finna have a family dinner with Darla's parents of all people. And they start dancing and partying. I forgot to tell y'all, Unvi had canceled. She called Darla, or Darla called her, or something like that. And they were like, okay, well, what's, are we still on for, you hosting my parents' family dinner, blah, blah, blah. She was like, oh, Darla, I'm so sorry. I had a pie order that I thought was for next week, and it's actually for this week, and I'm not going to be able to host your family dinner. But then she popped on down to the family dinner at Nova's house, and I'm like, so I thought she was coming up with the lie to get her out of going to the dinner because she was depressed because she just found out she had lupus, but she still popped on down to the dinner. So I'm like, you could have just had it. You ain't got no pies, Vi. Anyway, she comes on over and we all dancing and having a good time, and Luther's playing, and it's a function. And then the parents pop in, Darla's parents. I was very pleased and shocked to see that Darla's mother is Potomac. If you watch my star reviews, you know that I call Michael Michelle's character Potomac because she looks identically like she should have been on, the Real Housewives of Potomac. That's just where she needs to be. But anyway, Potomac pops over and she's, she sees Blue. She squats on down to his level. I'm like, dang, she must be tall. Because it was a long squat to get down to Blue, and Blue was growing. He's about my height. But anyway, she squats on down and says, I know we don't know each other very well, but can I have a big hug? And he's like, all right, fine, cool. Gives her a big hug. Blue is the chillest baby. He is so cute. He gives her a big hug, and then Blue walks over and hugs his granddaddy. And the granddaddy is just like, kind of like me when random kids on the street just walk up and hug me, and I just be like, hey. Because it happens so often. I be minding my business at work or something, and the baby just walks up and wraps themselves around me, and I'm like, okay, how you doing? Good to see you. New nephew, new niece, what is going on? It happens all the time. Anyway, so granddaddy, he looking all stuffy and extra, and I just couldn't be bothered with it. We having dinner. Let me see, did I miss anything before we get to dinner? Okay, so we having dinner, and granddaddy is giving Nova all the accolades he should be giving his daughter. And then when the daughter says, oh, well, I couldn't have done any of this without, child, then he's like, oh, well, I'm sure Darla has a whole lot to learn from you too. From Nova and Charlie. And I'm just like, you old fish-eyed fool. Like, I really have to give the girls an old Sanford and Sons reference. Like, what in the world? Who do you think you... So the daddy really rubbed me the wrong way, and I could kind of see why Darla may have started doing drugs, because I got family like that myself. Anything I do it's just not as good. I was taking Harvard classes. My grandmother said, and I said, oh, well then let me just go and drop out of these friggin' classes and go work at a coffee shop. And then my grandmother still said, oh, so there's nothing I can do. I'm sorry, I got personal. Excuse me. Moving back towards the show. This is why they're called rambling reviews. Moving back to the show. The daddy is trifling and bald-headed, and I can't be bothered. Now, if we could just all get on one accord, okay? Now, see, I just asked for us to all get on one accord. You don't just pull out in front of somebody. Moving along. It's Friday, and I'm actually off tomorrow, so I'm just going to give God his glory. So anyway, we get a scene with Potomac sitting over in Blue's room with Aunt Violet. They picking out, because Aunt Violet said, well, Blue can stay with me tonight. And I'm like, don't you have those pies? Vi got on my nerves with that thing. But, so she's picking out her, his outfit. What pajamas do you want to wear? What shirt for school tomorrow? This, that, and the other. He wanted to wear the shark shirt, but, we going to wear the dinosaur shirt, instead, because he just needed something to have teeth on it. And I'm like, I understand. I do feel you on that one. So they got the boy dressed and ready, and he runs off. He gives his grandmother Kenya, because it's not really Kenya. He's like, you know what? I don't really have to carry her everywhere I go. Grandma, you can hold this one, because she's not the real Kenya anyway. Gave Potomac Kenya. And I really thought that Potomac was going to say something about this doll, but she didn't. And I was like, okay, that's cute. Maybe Darla had previously told her mother about this doll situation, because the way they play it up on Queen Sugar, and I'm sure that's how it is in real life, but that's never how I would parent a child, is that this little boy is walking around with this doll, and everybody's just like, why do you have this doll? Why do you have this doll? And it's like, let the boy have the doll. Okay, it cut off. I don't know. If you're going to get over. What's your freaking issue? Ugh. I just hate driving so much. Anyway, it cut off. I'm sorry. I was trying to say that it's just not a big deal for this boy to be walking around with a doll. When I was a child, I walked around with action figures, and I wore my older cousin's clothes. He was a boy, and whenever he grew out of the clothes, I was bestowed them, and I thought it was neat because my auntie bought name brand stuff. So I'm walking around, in some Rocawear jeans and and a sweatshirt, and I'm like, okay, hey, name brand, and all my friends were like, oh, is that Rocawear? Oh my God, is that Baby Fat? Oh my God, I can't believe. And I just feel like, yeah, I'm fly, because my mama love her down, and I understand the practicalness of it now that I'm an adult. Was buying Faded Glory. And honestly, Faded Glory is everything, and I buy Faded Glory today. But as a kid, I'm walking around in my older cousins, like, Jordans, and it was a look. But then again, in the 90s and the early 2000s, children just dressed alike. It didn't matter if you were a boy or a girl or anything, like, we just all wore the same clothes. Especially if we were family, like, we would just all wear the same clothes. There wasn't really... In the black community, I don't know what the white kids was over there doing, but in the black community, we all dressed like Aaliyah, whether we were boys or girls. So that was, the look. But anyway, I have kind of forgotten how I got to this. Oh, Blue with the doll. I thought Potomac was going to Shade the dog. But anyway, Potomac proceeds to go into apologizing to Aunt Vi for mistreating Darla, or for not being there for Blue and Darla. And I'm like, shouldn't you be apologizing to Blue and Darla? Like, what in the world? What are we doing? And let me see what else I can mention right quick. I done pulled into the job. Girl, if you don't turn, thank you. Okay, so real quick, because I just don't have the energy, I don't have the time, and I don't have the care. It's not in here. This vehicle in front of me, God Jesus, Lord, today, back to this. So the white man comes knocking on Nova's door. She already knew it was him. She opens the door and lets him in, and then they go on into, he's apologizing. If there's anything I can do, I just love you so much. And I'm like, did you break up with your wife? Because I don't remember. And he goes into, I just want you make me feel free, yada, yada, blah, da, 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 da. When I was growing up, I never wanted to play sports, but I did. I never wanted to be a police officer, but I did. And I never wanted to get married, but I did. And I never wanted kids, but I did. And I'm just sitting here like, okay, well, since the bed's made now, the bed is made. I felt like a fraud all my life. Okay, well, too bad. Too diddly bad. It's a shame. Hate it for you. Hate that you've wasted so much time in your life. That has nothing to do with Novalon Bordelon. I extended her name for dramatic effect. Has nothing to do with her. And just the mere fact that you have children should be enough to scare her away. Because she don't want kids. So he all down on his knee crying and begging and keeps sweating and carrying on. And it's just like, child, you got these kids and she don't want no kids. So you losing right there. Anyway, let me go on to work. I'll come back on my break and finish this. All right, so Remy and Charlie, because I'm moving away from Nova and white man. Calvin. Remy and Charlie. And we all know, anytime I say Remy, I have to follow it up by saying, I don't see it for Remy. Just something about him, I just don't care for it. He gives me the same feeling Dubois gives me. I'm just tired. I can't do it. But anyway, they had discussed intercourse, and he said he wasn't ready because it had been a long time, and his wife died, and I guess he forgot the moves or something, I don't know. And he eventually popped on back to Charlie's, I guess, prepared this time. I don't know if he had called or not, but she was in her lingerie, as my grandmother would call it, her lingerie. And I'm just like, I don't care about this. I don't want to see this. Get this away from me. But anyway, child, they on the bed and carrying on. He all over and blah, blah, blah. And he says something about he wants forever. And I thought the girl had died. She did the Nova staring off at the coffee shop and was just like, I can't really do it because I'm driving. But she gave you something along those lines. And I'm like, is she okay? Did she die? And me and my mom was looking like, and Remy was looking like, is you all right? And she goes into, we haven't really talked. Why y'all ain't talked? Why are we at this point and ain't nobody talked? I feel like there we go. Why are we at this point and no one has uttered a word? And so now here we are in the quote unquote throes of passion and ain't nobody talked. And now we got to talk. So now he goes into, do you want to get married again? And I'm really just like, Remy, you old fish-eyed fool. Like, what in the world? She just got divorced. Just did. Juss did. Like, what in the world? Like, she just got divorced. The divorce may not even be finalized yet. I'm not sure. I don't recall. But, I mean, can you give the girl some time to be divorced? This is why I didn't want her jumping right on over with Remy. Anyway, she needs to go through her single girls. We single. Let me get a bob haircut. Go out with my girls, drink way too much wine and champagne, and just be single. Like, where's your single friends? Charlie ain't got no friends, first of all. But if she had friends, she would need them to be single. What is you doing? Why you ain't going through I'm over 30 and I'm single. Why is we not doing it? I feel like Charlie's over 40, but I don't want to be rude. I don't want to be rude. Because I know Rutina Wesley is like 40 or 41 or something. Or I think I know that. I feel like I read that. And I think Dawn and Rutina are the same age. But whatever. Anyway, you need your over 25 single friends with the bob haircut. The Rihanna swoop that they swing around because they single now. That's what you need. But that ain't what you got. Let me do this bank deposit and I'll call you right back. So Remy, not only does he want marriage, and Charlie's not sure, he also wants children. And I'm sitting here with mine eyes open, looking at the screen, looking at Charlie with her grown son, trying to figure out who Remy think he's talking to. No, that's not my grandma. I don't know that lady. I'm really sitting here trying to figure out who do Remy think he's talking to with this I want kids. Charlie's boy is about to go to college. You want her to start from the beginning? The baby's not finna go to preschool. He's not finna go to elementary school. He's about to go to college. Collage. What in the world? And, you know, she gave okay, so you could have scooted over a little bit so we could both have some room. White people, no disrespect to the white people if you're watching, but white people really feel like they are entitled to the entire world. The whole world. The whole thing. It's just the big rock rotating the sun. They feel like they own it. Like, girl, why can't you just go over there and own Mars and leave us the majority of the people on Earth, people of color? Give us this one, and y'all go do something else. What do you? Just the ignorant and annoying ones. Not, all white people don't have to leave, because I know a lot of you girls' mamas are white. Sis, at what point will you get on so I can get on? Because you're blocking the road. And now, see, I've missed my opportunity. Anyway, so he wants her, and I'm just like, you need to go on over there and marry, what's his face, man? Nova's man. So y'all can have kids together. Nova's man and Charlie man need to go and get married. Let me see. Nova eventually was like, girl, don't nobody have time. I can't go with you. And then, does that old long kiss goodnight. And then we get back over to Darla and Potomac. And Potomac gives we ain't know where we stood with you. And Darla says, I ain't know where I stood with you. And then Potomac says, we ain't know where we stood with you. And then Darla is giving, well, I wrote you letters. And I called all the time. And you guys, if you would get see, this is what I mean by white people. This is what I mean. There's a white man on his feet, his legs and feet, walking in the parking lot where my vehicle is driving. Because he's just that important to be walking in the middle of the road. Moving along. I've had it. Dang, what was I talking about? Oh, she goes into, I've written letters and I've called and this and that and the other. And basically Potomac is like, girl, but you had already told us several times that you was clean and you wasn't, so we didn't know whether to believe you or not. So we just kind of played you to the left. And I was like, what can we do? Like, okay, Darla, you got anything to say for yourself? You was out here acting, wilding, and your mom and daddy stopped putting up with it. Nothing we can do about that. And they came to a resolution. Potomac got up and was like, your daddy took it very, very hard. He took it so hard that you were on drugs. And I'm like, what does this mean? Did he have a heart attack, a stroke? What happened? What happened? Oh my goodness. Because she said it like the man died. And I'm like, I just saw him. But whatever. So she goes on into, he took it very, very hard. And Darla gets up. She's like, I'm going to take responsibility for, my sins. I don't know, blah, blah, blah. And then they hug, and Darla's giving, I'm so happy you're here. And Potomac is giving, yes, I know, because I'm legendary. I know you're happy I'm here. I'm also very happy that you're happy that I'm here because I'm sickening. And I'm like, that's me as somebody's mama. They'd be like, I love you, mommy. I'd be like, I know, I'm legendary. This is why I cannot raise children. I can't do it. Let me see, what else? After Potomac snatched Darla and got her together. Oh, and so Darla tiptoes on out to a tree where her father is standing and is giving, I'm sorry, amends, love you down, boots, blah. And the daddy is like, you need to tell Ralph Angel the truth about Blue. I said, what you're not going to do is take Blue from my family. I'm a borderline. I'm Kenya Borderline. May I rest in peace. You're not going to take Blue from us. What in the world? And so Darla tiptoes on out to where Ralph Angel's, he's just continuously washing his boots over there. I'm like, we ain't see the boy work at all. He just standing over there washing his boots. So anyway, he's washing his boots and Darla comes up to him and it's like, I was on drugs. When we first got together, I was on drugs, went out with my friends, did, the hardest stuff I've ever done, got the highest I ever got, slept with somebody, Blue might not be yours, da-da-da-da-da. And I'm just like, and Ralph is like, and then he walked off, not very far into the sunset. I would have kept walking, honestly, but when I get bad news, I will walk 500 miles and I will walk 500 more. But that's just me. He took about 10 good steps behind him and squatted down in the grass. And that's how the show went off. It was very sad. Anyway, since I'm sitting outside my job and my coworker's probably looking out the window at me because I'm supposed to be in the building because I was supposed to be going to the bank and back, but who cares? Like, comment, subscribe. All the things the YouTubers say, and I'll see y'all in the next one.